Is it more that you're the same God? Wrong with baby. Oh, this God, you are too good to be true, but you're true. Ancient of days, so as you are.
Before then, let us get some context on today's set of contestants. 1 Timothy 4:12 says, "Let no man despise thy youth, rather be an example of the believers in word, in conversation, in charity, in spirit, in faith, and in purity." Now, if you are 80 years or under, you are a youth. And today's contestants are youth in every sense of the word. Let us meet them now, shall we? To my right, what is your name, sir? And what is the name of your local parish?
My name is Babalola Caleb. My local church name is Living Seed Church.
Welcome, Caleb. Your hands together for Caleb. What is your name and your local parish?
My name is Rccg Peter, and I'm from Prevailing People's Parish.
Welcome, Peter. And on this side, the lovely lady among the men. What is your name and the name of your local parish?
Hello, my name is Omotola Daramaja. I'm from Living Faith Church, Omi.
Welcome, Omotola. And last and definitely not least, your name, sir, and the name of your local church.
My name is Wale Ojola. I'm from Living Faith Church, Premier.
Welcome, Wale. If you're ready, we are too. Let us play the Foundry. Before we go on to play the game, there are a few house rules that you absolutely need to know as contestants on the Foundry. There are 3 stages in this competition: the milk stage, the meat stage, and the bone cracker stage. Now, for each stage, you get to answer a number of questions that will win you 10 points when you answer correctly. In the event that you don't know the answer to that question, we'll send it to the person beside you, and they get 5 points if they get that answer correctly. If you are going to be giving us any answers with regards to Bible verses, please ensure that the context is from the New International Version, NIV, or the King James Version, KJV. Do not make any eye contact or gesture towards anyone in the audience. If you need to look for any moral support, look at me. I will provide you that, or look to Jesus. Wishing you all the best, and it is time to play. Alrighty, now we are starting with Caleb. You have a number of questions from 1 to 30. Pick a number.
Pick number 7.
Number 7. Listen to your question, Caleb. Without dash, it is impossible to please God. Is it A, prayer, B, power, C, faith, or D, humility? You have 20 seconds to think before you answer this question. The 20 seconds start now.
Faith.
Faith?
Yes.
Final answer, faith?
Yes.
Are you locking in faith as your final answer?
Yes, I lock it in.
Caleb has locked in faith as his final answer. Without dash, it is impossible to please God. Hebrews 11:6 says, but without faith, it is impossible to please God. 10 points to Caleb. Congratulations. Peter, you're next. What's your number?
Number 18.
Number 18. Here is your question, Peter. Where did Moses receive the first set of commandments before it was broken? Was it A, Mount Ararat, B, Mount Sinai, C, Mount Nebo, or D, Mount Moriah? You've got 20 seconds to think before you answer.
B,
20 seconds start
Mount
now.
Sinai.
Mount Sinai. Are you locking in Mount Sinai as your final answer?
Yes, ma'am.
Peter is locking in B, Mount Sinai, as his final answer. Exodus 20, verse 1 to 26, break down where Moses got the first set of commandments, and it was B, Mount Sinai. 10 points to Peter. We now come to you, Omotola. 1 to 30, what's your number?
Number 3.
Number 3. Listen very closely, Omotola. God dash the proud, but gives grace to the humble. A, abandons, B, resists, C, rejects, or D, forgives. 20 seconds on the clock.
B, resist.
B, resists. Are you locking in B, resists as your final answer? Omotola has locked in B, resist as a final answer. James 4:6 says, wherefore he saith, God resisteth the proud, but giveth grace unto the humble. 10 points to her for that correct answer. Wale, it is your turn. 1 to 30. What's your number?
5.
Number 5. Listen closely. Dash to show thyself approved. A, study. B, pray. C, speak in tongues. Or D, display spiritual gifts. 20 seconds start now.
Study.
Study. A, study. Are you locking in study as your final answer?
Most definitely.
Wale is most definitely locking in A, study as his final answer. It is absolutely correct. 10 points to Wale for that one. Moving on quickly, back to you now, Caleb. What's your number?
14.
Number 14. Listen very closely. The first woman judge in the Bible was dash. A, Jael. B, Miriam. C, Deborah. Or D, Anna. 20 seconds on the clock.
C, Deborah.
C, Deborah. Are you locking that in as your final answer? Caleb has says C, Deborah is the first woman judge in the Bible. That is absolutely correct. 10 points to him. Back to you now, Peter.
11.
Number 11. Listen very closely. As outlined in the Bible, verse after verse, what is the second line of the Lord's Prayer? 20 seconds on the clock. Starts now.
Who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Hallowed be thy name.
Hallowed be thy name. The second line in the Lord's Prayer, as outlined in the Bible, verse after verse. Hallowed be thy name.
Yes, ma'am.
That is absolutely incorrect. Does anyone else want to try? Let's give it to... Well, whose hand was up first? Yours was. All right, let's hear you, Wale. What is that? You have 10 seconds to answer this.
Who art in heaven?
Who art in heaven? Final answer? That is absolutely incorrect. We're out of bonus questions now. The right answer is your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven.
Here in Nigeria.
Right?
Yeah.
You look surprised.
She said the second line.
She said verse by verse, I guess.
Verse by verse. Yeah, that's okay. There's enough time to catch up. Let's now go back to the questions. To you, Omotola, what is your number 1 to 30?
Number 4.
Number 4. Listen very closely. As many as received him, to them he gave dash to become the sons of God. A, strength. B, money. C, grace. Or D, power. 20 seconds on the clock.
Power.
Power, final answer?
Yeah.
Locking that in?
Yeah.
All right. So Omotola has locked in power as her final answer. John 1:12 says, but as many as received him, to them he gave the power to become the sons of God. Correct. 10 points to Omotola for that correct answer. Let us now go to you, Wale. What is your number?
20.
Number 20. Listen very closely, will ya? According to Jesus, the first and greatest commandment is A, love your neighbor as yourself. B, honor your father and your mother. C, love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. Or D, greater love hath no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. 20 seconds on the clock.
C, love the Lord with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind.
Are you locking that in as your final answer?
Yes,
Wale has locked in C as his final answer. Matthew 22:36-38 says, love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. Correct. 10 points to Wale for that one. Back to this side of the hall. What's your number?
21.
Number 21. What is the 31st book of the Old Testament? Is it A, Zephaniah, B, Obadiah, C, 1 Kings, or D, Deuteronomy? 20 seconds begin now. Do you want the options again?
Yes.
A, Zephaniah, Obadiah, 1 Kings, or Deuteronomy?
I lock in B.
B, Obadiah. Is that the correct answer? Let's find out after the break. Welcome back to the special Jubilee edition of The Foundry. We are testing the knowledge and understanding of the Bible from our very awesome and very youthful youth. And so far, it has been quite exciting. Before we went on that short break, Caleb said the 31st book of the Bible was B, Obadiah. Was that the correct answer? Caleb, the 31st book of the Old Testament is Obadiah. 10 points to you. Congratulations. Let's now go over to you, Peter. What's your number?
27.
Number 27. Listen very closely. Pray without ceasing is found in what book? A, 1 Timothy. 2, B, 2 Peter. C, 1 Thessalonians, or D, 3 John. Your 20 seconds start now.
1 Thessalonians.
C, 1 Thessalonians. Are you locking that in as your final answer? He has locked in 1 Thessalonians as his final answer. Pray without ceasing. Correct. 10 points to you, Peter. Why didn't you go for 2 Peter? I mean, it's your name, right? All right. Over now to you, Omotola. What's your number?
Number 2.
Number 2. All right. Is that still available? It absolutely is. Dash is the 3rd son of Adam and Eve. A, Cain. B, Seth. C, Enos, or D, Abel. 20 seconds on the clock. Seth. Final answer?
Yes.
B, Seth. Omotola has locked in B, Seth as her final answer. Genesis 4:25 says, and Adam knew his wife again, and she bare a son and called his name Seth. 10 points to you. Congratulations. Now to you, Wally. What's your number?
Let's do 1.
Number 1. Listen closely. How many days did the spies sent by Moses explore the promised land for? Was it A, 12, B, 40, C, 41, or D, 7? 20 seconds on the clock.
40 days.
40 days, final answer?
Yes.
B, 40 days, according to Numbers 13:25, and they returned from searching of the land after 40 days. 10 points. Congratulations, Wale. Over now to you, Caleb. It's getting more intense. What's your number?
28.
Number 28. All right. Here is your question. How many books are in the New Testament? A, 39, B, 20, C, 27, or D, 37? 20 seconds on the clock.
C, 27.
C, 27. Final answer. Caleb has locked in 27 as the number of books in the New Testament. Is that correct? It absolutely is. 27 books in the New Testament. Well done. Now over to you, Peter.
Number 34.
34. All right. Which of the following is not a book of the Old Testament? Hebrews, Judges, Micah, or Joel?
A, Hebrews.
A, Hebrews. Final answer. Locking that in. That is correct. Hebrews is indeed not in the Old Testament. It is in the New Testament. Back now to you, Omotola.
15.
15. Is that still available? It sure is. Where did Jesus give his first sermon? Was it A, in the wilderness, B, on the mountain, C, in the synagogue, or D, on a tree? 20 seconds on the clock.
On the mountain.
On the mountain, final answer?
Yes.
Locking that in. B, on the mountain, is where Omotola thinks Jesus gave his first sermon. Was that indeed the location? Yes, it was. 10 points to you. Well done. Over to you, Ali. What's your number?
25.
Number 25. Is that still open? Yes, it is. Who said, "Hear ye the word of the Lord. Thus saith the Lord, tomorrow about this time shall a measure of fine flour be sold for a shekel, and 2 measures of barley for a shekel in the gate of Samaria"? Was it A, Elijah, B, Samuel, C, Nathan, or D, Elisha? 20 seconds on the clock.
Elijah.
Elijah?
Yes, Elijah.
Elijah, final answer.
Final answer.
Locking in A, Elijah, as the one who said, "Hear ye the word of the Lord. Tomorrow about this time shall a measure of fine flour be sold for a shekel, and 2 measures of barley for a shekel in the gate of Samaria." Was it Elijah that made that statement? Let's find out after this. Don't go anywhere. It is the special edition of The Foundry. Thank you so much for staying with us. It is the special Jubilee edition of The Foundry. And before that break, one of our youth, a contestant on today's episode, had told us the answer to a question. And he said Elijah was the one who said, "Hear ye the word of the Lord. Thus saith the Lord, tomorrow about this time shall a measure of fine flour be sold for a shekel, and 2 measures of barley for a shekel in the gate of Samaria." And that was Wale. That answer, according to 2 Kings chapter 7 verse 1, was incorrect. All right, 3 hands are going up. I think his hand went up first. So let's hear you, Caleb. D. Elisha. Final answer? All right. Caleb has locked in Elisha as the answer to that question, and it is absolutely correct. 5 points to you. And we're coming to you now for your question. Pick a number.
Number 10.
Number 10. All right. Listen very closely to your question. Psalms chapter 1 verse 1 says, "Blessed is the man that dash."
Blessed is the man that walks not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sits in the seats of discomfort, but his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in it does he meditate day and night. He shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water.
That's a Psalm 1:1, or are you giving us a lot more than we asked for?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
But well done. That was absolutely correct. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. Good job, Caleb. 10 points to you. Peter, what's your number?
Number 37.
37. All right. Listen very closely to your question. Which of the following kings got his throne from appointment and not inheritance? Was it A, Jehoash, B, David, C, Solomon, or D, Ahab? 20 seconds on the clock.
David.
Final answer, David? All right. Peter has locked in B, David, as the king who got his throne from an appointment and not an inheritance. That is correct. Well done, Peter. That was indeed David. Now over to you, Omotola.
Question 17.
Question 17. Okay. Listen very closely. Name the first 2 apostles to follow Jesus. Were they A, James and John, B, Peter and Simon, C, Andrew and Peter, or D, Judas and Matthew? 20 seconds begin now.
C, Andrew and Peter.
Andrew and Peter, final answer?
Yes.
Omotola has locked in C, Andrew and Peter, as the first 2 apostles to follow Jesus, and she is correct. 10 points to you. Back to you now, Wally. What's your number? 32. All right. Listen very closely. How many times did the Israelites march around the city of Jericho? Was it A, 7 times, B, 13 times, C, 10 times, or D, 12 times? 20 seconds on the clock. 7 times, final answer. You're locking that in. Wale has locked in A, 7 times, as the number of times the Israelites marched around the city of Jericho. According to Joshua 6, 3-4, 7 times is incorrect. Caleb's hand went up first. You have 10 seconds to answer. What do you think the right option is?
I think the right option is 13 times.
13 times, final answer? All right. Caleb has stolen that and has said 13 times are the number of times that the Israelites marched around the city of Jericho. Joshua 6, 3-4 definitely agrees with you. 13 times is the number. 5 points to Caleb. Well done. And that is the end of the milk stage on the special Jubilee edition of The Foundry, the youth edition. It is time now for us to see where our contestants stand. Our scorekeeper is on hand to give us that information. Don't go anywhere. We'll find out where each person stands after this break. evening edition of The Foundry. It has been a very intense milk stage. Now we will see who will be moving on to the meat stage. But first, let us see how each contestant stands. Thank you to our scorekeeper for keeping score of each contestant's abilities today. Now, as it stands, Wale is 30 points. Peter is on 40 points. Omotola is on 50 points. And Caleb is in the lead with 60 points. Moving on now to the mid stage, we may have to say goodbye to you, Wale. It has been a very exciting time having you on the show. You've been really awesome, phenomenal. Thank you for your knowledge and for contributing to the Foundry. Wish you all the best. Thank you so much. Don't go anywhere. Up next is the mid stage. Things get a bit tougher right here on the Foundry. It is the Foundry and it is time for the mid stage. Need to let you all know that you have now laid aside every point you gathered in the milk stage because this is a fresh experience you're about to have. Trust me, it's going to get tougher than it was in the first stage, so listen very intently. In this level, you have 25 seconds to think before you answer your question. So here's wishing you all the best. 1 to 30 are the numbers. You pick a number and we go for it. 10 points yet again. 5 points for a bonus question. We start off with Omotola. Pick a number. Number 7. Listen closely. What was the first king that Israel conquered in the book of Deuteronomy? A. Og, king of Bashan. B. Abner, king of Jericho. C. Laham, king of Gibeon. Or D. Sihon, king of Heshbon.
A.
Yeah. A. Og, king of Bashan.
Yes.
Final answer.
Final answer.
Omotola has locked in A. Og, king of Bashan, as the first king that Israel conquered in the book of Deuteronomy. That is absolutely correct. 10 points to you, Omotola. Well done. And now to you, Caleb. Pick a number.
Number 5.
Number 5. Listen closely. The Feast of Tabernacles is a celebration held after what event? A. New Year's. B. Planting time. C. The full moon. Or D. Harvest time. 25 seconds on the clock.
The options again, please.
A. New Year's. B. Planting time. C. The full moon. Or D. Harvest time.
I'll go for D.
D. Harvest time. All right. Caleb has gone for option D. Locked in?
Yes.
Totally locked it in. D. Harvest time. Is that the event that happens before the Feast of Tabernacles? Yes, it is. Harvest time. 10 points. You weren't too sure.
Yes, I wasn't.
Yeah, I saw that on your face, but it's okay. Peter, what's your number?
17.
Number 17. All right, listen closely. Which place is called Zion and the city of David? Is it A, Jerusalem, B,
A,
Judah?
Jerusalem.
Let me land. B, Judah, C, Canaan, or D, Jordan? 25 seconds on the clock. Let me do my job. Thank you. All right, what is your answer?
A, Jerusalem.
All right, you now took your 2 seconds to. Final answer, A, Jerusalem.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, it's the confidence for me. It is correct. 10 points to Peter. Congratulations and well done. Back now to you, Omotola. Pick a number.
Question 3.
Question 3. Listen very closely. What was more glorious than even Solomon dressed in his splendor, according to Jesus? Was it A, peacocks, B, roses, C, lilies, or D, daisies? 25 seconds on the clock. Do you want the options again?
I'll go with lilies.
Lilies, final answer?
Yes.
Lilies, final answer, option C. Was that what Jesus said was more glorious than even Solomon dressed in his splendor? Matthew 6:28 to 29 has the answer. And we'll share that after this. Don't go anywhere. It's the Foundry. Welcome back to the Foundry, the special Jubilee edition. Before we went on that break, Omotola said lilies were what Jesus was referring to as more glorious than even Solomon dressed in his splendor. Now, according to Matthew 6:28 to 29, and why do you worry about clothes? Consider how the lilies of the field grow. They do not labor or spin, yet I tell you that not even Solomon in all his glory was adorned like one of these. 10 points to you. Well done. Let's now go back to you, Caleb. Pick a number.
Question 10.
Question 10. Listen very intently. Who threshed grain by a wine press? Was it A, Joshua, B, Gideon, C, Joseph, or D, Asa? 25 seconds on the clock.
B, Gideon.
B, Gideon, final answer?
Yes.
Caleb has locked in B, Gideon as the person who threshed grain by a wine press. According to Judges 6:11, the person who did that was actually Gideon. 10 points. Well done. Peter, pick a number.
Number 14.
Number 14. What did God tell the people not to eat after the flood? Was it A, a serpent, or B, pig, C, a dove, or D, blood? 25 seconds on the clock.
The question and the option again.
What did God tell the people not to eat after the flood? A, a serpent, B, pig, C, dove, or D, blood?
I'll go with C, dove.
C, dove.
Yes, ma'am.
Final answer. This was what God told people not to eat after the flood. C, dove. Locked in?
Yes, ma'am.
Locked in. Genesis chapter 9 verse 4 actually lists a different thing. Not dove. That was incorrect.
Hi.
All right. Omotola has quickly snatched that. What is the answer? 10
Blood.
seconds. Blood.
Blood.
Final answer?
Yes.
According to Genesis chapter 9 verse 4, was blood the thing God told the people not to eat after the flood? Well, it sort of rhymes. Flood, blood. That is correct. 5 points to you. Omotola, well done. Okay, now your question. Pick a number.
12.
Number 12. Listen closely. What was the name of the son of Phinehas? Was it A, Job, B, Benjamin, C, Shiloh, or D, Ichabod? 25 seconds on the clock.
The question again.
What was the name of the son of Phinehas? A, Job, B, Benjamin, C, Shiloh, or D, Ichabod?
Ichabod.
Final answer, Ichabod.
Final answer.
D, Ichabod is what Omotola has chosen and locked in. That is correct. 10 points. Ichabod was indeed Phinehas' son. Now back to you, Caleb. Pick a number.
Question 15.
Question 15. Listen closely. In whose Gospels do the Beatitudes appear? Is it A, Matthew and Mark, B, Mark and John, C, Luke and John, or D, Luke and Matthew? 25 seconds on the clock.
Can I have the options A and D again?
Option A, Matthew and Mark. Option D, Luke and Matthew. Do you want the rest?
I go with option A.
Option A, Matthew and Mark. Final answer, option A.
Yes.
Caleb has locked in option A as the Gospels and the Beatitudes appear. Is that the final answer? Find out after this break. Don't go anywhere. It is the Foundry. Welcome back. It is the special Jubilee edition of the Foundry, and this is the mixed stage, the youth edition, and they have been definitely proving their knowledge and understanding of the Bible. Before we go on to the question that Caleb answered and whose answer is hanging in the balance, we want to say a very big thank you to our partners, Wiseman Apparel and of course Prime Wash Laundry. Thank you so much. We'll let you know more about these awesome sponsors much later. But for now, Caleb decided that Matthew and Mark were the Gospels that the Beatitudes appeared. Was that correct? I'm afraid not. It wasn't Matthew and Mark. Peter had his hand up first. It's not a fight. All right, what do you think is the answer? 10 seconds on the clock.
Option D, Matthew.
Option D, Matthew and Luke. Is that the correct answer? Did the Beatitudes appear in the Gospels according to Luke and Matthew? Absolutely. 5 points to Peter. Well done. Now your question, Peter.
Question 32.
32. Okay. Listen closely. Which Assyrian king invaded Judah when it was under Hezekiah's rule? Was it A, Sargon, B, Sennacherib, C, Shalmaneser, or D, Esarhaddon? 25 seconds on the clock.
The question again and the
Question again. Which Assyrian king invaded Judah when it was under Hezekiah's rule? A, Sargon, B, Sennacherib, C, Shalmaneser, or D, Esarhaddon?
B, Sennacherib.
B, Sennacherib. Final answer?
Yes, ma'am.
Locked in? Peter has locked in B, Sennacherib, as the Assyrian king who invaded Judah when it was under Hezekiah's rule. Is that correct? Peter, it is correct. 10 points. Well done. Now back to you, Omotola.
Question 2.
Question 2. Is that available? It sure is. Listen closely. How tall was Goliath, the Philistine giant slain by David with a stone hurled from a sling? Was he A, 5 cubits, 2 spans, B, 10 cubits, 1 span, C, 2 cubits, 5 spans, or D, 6 cubits and 1 span? 25 seconds on the clock.
Option D.
Option D, 6 cubits and 1 span.
Yes.
Final answer?
Final.
Locked in option D as 6 cubits and 1 span. Goliath's height, before he was of course slain with a stone hurled from a sling by David. According to 1 Samuel chapter 17 verse 14, Goliath was actually 6 cubits, 1 span tall. Well done. 10 points to you, Omotola. You need some water, maybe? Do you need water?
I'm fine.
You're fine. Awesome. Now back to you, Caleb. Pick a number.
Question 20.
Question 20. Listen very closely. It is still available. Which gospel mostly speaks on the mystery and identity of the person of Jesus? Is it A, Matthew, B, John, C, Luke, or D, Mark? 25 seconds. Start now.
Go with B, John.
B, John. Final answer?
Yes.
John. Okay. Caleb says John is the gospel that speaks mostly on the mystery and identity of the person of Jesus. And he is correct. 10 points. Well done. Now, Peter, pick a number.
18.
Number 18. Listen closely. After he fled for his life, what tree did Elijah sleep under? Was it A, a fig tree, B, a juniper tree, C, a palm tree, or D, a sycamore tree? 25 seconds on the clock.
D, a sycamore tree.
D, sycamore tree. Final answer?
Yes, ma'am.
Locked in? Peter has locked in a sycamore tree as the tree Elijah slept under after he fled for his life. 1 Kings 19, 1-5 actually says it was not a sycamore tree.
I said, are you ready?
Caleb has had his hand up first. 10 seconds. What tree do you think it was?
Juniper tree.
A juniper tree. Final answer? 1 Kings 19 verses 1-5 actually seems to agree with you. It is indeed a juniper tree that Elijah slept under after fleeing for his life. 5 points to Caleb. Now it is the final round in the mid stage. Motola, let's hear your number.
Question 20.
Question 20 is unavailable.
27.
27 is very much ready for you to answer. Listen closely. Who refreshed Paul while he was in prison in Rome? Was it A, Timothy, B, Onesimus, C, Onesiphorus, or D, John Mark? 25 seconds start now.
Onesimus.
Onesimus. Final answer?
Yes.
Final answer, B, Onesimus, as the person who refreshed Paul while he was in prison in Rome.
Yes.
2 Timothy verse chapter 1 2 Timothy chapter 1, verses 15 to 18 seems to disagree with you. Onesimus was not the person. Peter's hand was up first. Who was it? Timothy, final answer. Can Peter get 5 points for snatching that from Omotola? I'm afraid not. It was not Timothy. 2 Timothy 1, 15 to 18 lists Onesiphorus as the man who refreshed Paul while he was in prison in Rome. So 5 points to me.
Glory.
Thank you so much. All right, Caleb, this is your final question. What number will you go for?
Question 25.
Question 25. Listen closely. When Aaron's staff blossoms in the front of the tabernacle, what else does it produce? Is it A, roses, B, manna, C, wheat, or D, almonds? 25 seconds on the clock.
The question and the options.
Question again. When Aaron's staff blossoms in the front of the tabernacle, what else does it produce? Roses, manna, wheat, or almonds?
I go with option A.
Option A, roses. Final answer, yes. Locked in. Caleb has locked in roses as the other thing that comes out of Aaron's staff when it blossoms in front of the tabernacle. According to Numbers 17:8, roses do not blossom when Aaron's staff blossoms. Rather, roses are not produced when Aaron's staff blossoms. Omotola's hand was up first. 10 seconds. What is the answer?
Wheat.
Wheat is what else is produced when Aaron's staff blossoms. Is that the correct answer? Omotola says wheat. That is incorrect. And that is all that we can take with regards to bonus points. Numbers 17:8 lists D, almonds, as what else is produced when Aaron's staff blossoms in front of the tabernacle. That's another applause for me. Peter, the final question. Pick a number.
Question 19.
Question 19. Listen closely. What is the most common name in the Bible? Is it A, John, B, Matthew, C, Isaiah, or D, Zechariah? 25 seconds on the clock. What is the most common name in the Bible? A, John, B, Matthew, C, Isaiah, or D, Zechariah?
John.
John, A. Locked in. Final answer. Peter has locked in John as the most common name in the Bible. Is that correct or not? I'm afraid not.
Aye.
Omotola's hand was up first. What
Matthew.
name? Matthew. Final answer. Can Omotola get 5 points for saying Matthew is the most common name in the Bible? I need to ask, how many Matthews do you know? Just randomly.
Just one.
You know only one Matthew? That is incorrect as well. The correct answer is Zechariah. The most common name in the Bible is Zechariah. Well done, guys. You have been phenomenal today. And we appreciate your knowledge, your understanding, and of course your tenacity as well. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, the scorekeeper will have the scores with me, and we'll let you know how each contestant stands on this special Jubilee edition of The Foundry, the youth episode. Your hands together, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is exclusive. Are you eager to dress in the most classical way without breaking the bank? Wise Men Apparel indulges has got you covered. Affordable prices in shoes, bags, wristwatches, and many more. Walk into any of our outlets. In Lagos, 93A of Baby Ikeja. In Abuja, Sedi Plaza, Tafawa Balewa Way. And in Ogun State, opposite Estate 9 Second Gate, Ring Road, RC Rccg Redemption Camp. Wise Men Apparel and Daughters. Come, shop, and be impressed.
Edition of the Foundry, and so far we have been testing the knowledge and understanding of our youth who have so far proven the vocation wherewith they have been called, doing fantastically and answering the questions rather brilliantly. But of course, as you know, when you go from milk to meat, you get to the bone cracker stage, and if you are not sure of what you are sure of, you just might get kicked off the game. Now, the scorekeeper has given us a rundown of the points, and this is how the contestants stand. At 25 points is Peter. Caleb is on 35 points. And in the lead is Omotola with 45 points. I'm afraid, Peter, we have to let you go, but you have done really well answering those questions and, of course, bringing the energy with the bonus questions. Well done and all the best. We are proud of you. Hands together for Peter, please. It is now time for us to get cracking with the Word of God. It is the bone cracker stage on the Foundry. Stick around. Excited because this is the final stage, and after now an actual winner will emerge. But of course, everyone is a winner on the Foundry because we are all victorious in Christ Jesus. Testing your knowledge of the Bible is pretty important, however, and that's what we're doing today. Now, contestants, on this stage you have 30 seconds to answer your question. You must be able to fit your answer into 30 seconds. Here's wishing you all the best. Are we ready?
Yes.
We'll start off with you, Caleb. 1 to 20, pick a number.
Number 3.
Number 3. Listen closely. King Ahab had a pronouncement of doom twice from 2 different prophets. Who were these 2 prophets?
The question again, ma.
King Ahab had a pronouncement of doom twice from 2 different prophets. Who were the 2 different prophets? 30 seconds already winding down.
Yes, I want to be sure. Prophet Elijah and Prophet Elijah and Prophet Samuel.
Final answer. He was able to fit in his answer into 30 seconds. Caleb says Prophet Elijah and Prophet Samuel were the 2 prophets who pronounced doom on King Ahab twice. Is that correct? We'll give you half mark, 5 points for Prophet Elijah. The second prophet was Prophet Micaiah. 5 points to Caleb, please. According to 1 Kings 21:19, Elijah the Tishbite and Micaiah, son of Imlah, in 1 Kings 22:17, were the 2 prophets that the pronouncement of doom came from for King Ahab. Let's now go to you, Omotola. Pick a number.
Question 2.
Question 2. Listen closely. Which Babylonian emperor allowed the Israelites to return to their homeland? 30 seconds on the clock.
Cyrus.
Cyrus, final answer?
Final answer.
Final answer, Cyrus. Which Babylonian emperor allowed the Israelites return to their homeland? As narrated in the books of Ezra and Nehemiah, the Jews were allowed to end their exile in Babylon and return to Israel following the decree by Emperor Cyrus the Great. 10 points. Well done. Well done, Omotola. Back now to you, Caleb. Pick a number.
Question 6.
Question 6. Listen closely. What does John chapter 1, verse 1 to 5 say? 30 seconds on the clock.
In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Everything was made by Him, and without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life, and that life was the light of men. And the light shines in darkness, and darkness cannot comprehend it.
Final answer?
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Caleb has given us
Yes.
Caleb has given us John 1:1-5. And he said, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Everything was made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. And the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. Caleb, what is it with you and half marks? You've got 5 points because you missed out one whole verse. Verse 2, which says, the same was in the beginning with God. So 5 points to Caleb, please. Well done. Well done. Now back to you, Omotola. Pick a number.
Question 7.
Question 7. Listen closely. Those who do not endure sound doctrine, according to 2 Timothy 4, possess dash. 30 seconds on the clock. Want the question again?
Pride.
Pride, final answer.
Final answer.
Final answer, pride, as what those who do not endure sound doctrine possess, according to 2 Timothy 4. In 2 Timothy 4, verses 1-4, those who do not endure sound doctrine possess itchy ears.
Bonus.
0 points for you. All right, let's now go to Caleb. You knew that one?
Yes.
Unfortunately, there's no bonus points for the bone cracker question.
Wow.
You either know it or you know it.
Glory.
Right? So pick a number.
Question 9.
Question 9. Listen intently. Who was king when Nehemiah began rebuilding the wall of Jerusalem? 30 seconds on the clock.
The question again, ma'am.
Who was king when Nehemiah began rebuilding the wall of Jerusalem? Are you waiting until the final 5 seconds?
Yes. I'll go for Ahasuerus.
Ahasuerus, final answer.
Yes.
Caleb has locked in King Ahasuerus as the king who was reigning when Nehemiah began rebuilding the wall of Jerusalem. Was it King Ahasuerus? Absolutely not. It was King Artaxerxes. Nehemiah was his cupbearer. All right, it's getting more and more intense. Let's now go back to Omotola. Pick a number.
Question 1.
Question 1. Listen closely. Recite Psalms 119 verse 11, either in KJV or NIV. Your time starts now. 30 seconds on the clock. Psalm 119 verse 11. Can't give me anything? Anything at all? Something short, maybe? A word? And that is it. Psalms 119 verse 11 says, Thy word have I hid in my heart, that I might not sin against thee. KJV. All right, now back to you, Caleb. Ready for your next question?
Yes.
Pick a number.
Question 12.
Question 12. Listen very closely. Which timber was used to construct the Ark of Noah, and what sealant was chosen to render it waterproof? There are options for this question, thankfully. Option A, acacia wood and pitch. Option B, shittim wood and pitch. Option C, almug wood and pitch. Or option D, gopher wood and pitch. 30 seconds, start now.
The options again, ma'am.
Options again, acacia wood and pitch, shittim wood and pitch, almug wood and pitch, or gopher wood and pitch.
Please, the options again.
Acacia wood, shittim wood, almug wood, or gopher wood.
I'll go for B.
B, shittim wood.
Yes.
Final answer, locked in. Caleb has locked in shittim wood and pitch as the timber that was used to construct the Ark of Noah, and the sealant, of course, chosen to render it waterproof. According to Genesis 6:14, was it indeed shittim wood? Find out after now. It is the foundry. Have you back on the special Jubilee edition of the Foundry. Before that break, Caleb gave us an answer for his question where we asked which timber was used to construct the Ark of Noah and what sealant was chosen to render it waterproof. Caleb said shittim wood and pitch. According to Genesis 6:14, pitch was definitely used to render it waterproof, but the wood was gopher wood. So that's no point to Caleb. But there is still time, of course, to make things right. Back now to Omotola, pick a number.
Question 10.
Question 10, listen closely. What was the writer of the book Philemon in the Bible asking Philemon to do? And who was the writer? 30 seconds on the clock. What was the writer asking Philemon to do and who wrote the book?
Paul wrote the book.
Your answer was needing Philemon to do. Just can't come up with that. Okay, according to Philemon 1:12, Paul was indeed the writer of the book. That's 5 points for you. The other half, which you were not able to come up with, was what the writer was asking Philemon to do, which was to receive his slave who had wronged him back as a brother in Christ. Receive your slave who has wronged you back as a brother in Christ. So 5 points to you, Omotola. It's your first 5 point today. Let's see how far that goes. Now back to you, Caleb. Pick a number.
Question 15.
Question 15. Listen very closely. According to Matthew 5, list 5 beatitudes, 30 seconds on the clock, start now.
Blessed are the poor in spirit, for they shall inherit the kingdom of God. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are those that mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are those that hunger and thirst, for they shall be filled. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall see God.
Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. You said that. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are they that hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall have their fill. And then you said, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall see God. 5 points to you, because you did not get the last one correctly, but well done. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called children of God. Well done to you, Caleb. That was a very close one. Wishing you all the best. Let's now go back to you, Omotola. Pick a number.
Question 4.
Question 4. Listen very closely. Who ruled Judah after King Hazael, Joash's father, died? 30 seconds, start now. Who ruled Judah after King Ahaziah, Joash's father, died?
I'll go with Joash.
Joash. Final answer, Joash.
Final answer.
All right. Omotola has locked in Joash as the person who ruled Judah after King Ahaziah died. According to 2 Chronicles 22:11-12, Queen Athaliah, actually his mother, was the one who ruled after King Ahaziah died. So that's no point to you, sorry. Also, Queen Athaliah killed almost all of the king's sons except for Joash, who was hidden by his aunt Jehoshabeath, wife of Jehoiada the priest. Let's now go back to you, Caleb. Pick a number.
Question 18.
Question 18. All right. Listen closely. Which two rivers border Eden in modern-day Iraq? 30 seconds on the clock. Which two rivers border Eden in modern-day Iraq? Are you waiting to the final seconds? Really? That's an interesting one.
Tigris and Euphrates.
Final answer, Tigris and Euphrates.
Yes.
Is that correct? Are those the two rivers that border Eden in modern-day Iraq? Modern day, or not olden days, oh. Correct. Tigris and Euphrates. 10 points to you. All right. It is the final seconds now of the Bone Cracker stage. Omotola, final question.
14.
All right, let's go there. Who is the only Gentile in the Bible to be identified as the Lord's anointed? There are options for this. Is it A, Cornelius, B, Isaiah, C, Darius, or D, Cyrus? 30 seconds on the clock.
Options again.
Cornelius, Isaiah, Darius, or Cyrus? The only Gentile in the Bible to be identified as the Lord's anointed.
Darius.
Darius, final answer?
Yes.
That's option C. All right. Omotola has locked in Darius as the only Gentile in the Bible to be identified as the Lord's anointed. According to Isaiah 45 verse 1, the king of Persia from 580 BC to 529 BC was the only Gentile in the Bible identified as the Lord's anointed, and his name was Cyrus. That's no point to you. And those are all the questions that we have in the Bone Cracker stage. Maybe you are our virtual scorekeeper and you are keeping the scores. Well, we also have our in-studio scorekeeper, and after this break, we'll see how Omotola and Caleb stand. Stick around to the Foundry. What a day it has been at this edition of the Foundry. We have in fact tested the knowledge, the understanding, the everything of the Bible from our awesome contestants. There were 4, now there are 2. Now I did mention that our scorekeeper has been keeping scores, and this is how both contestants stand. But not just from the Bone Cracker stage, from the milk stage. In the milk stage, Omotola kicked off with 50 points. And Caleb was 60 points in the milk stage. In the mid stage, the more tough terrain, Omotola was with 45 points. And Caleb was at 35 points. And the toughest of them, the Bone Cracker stage. This was where we separated the meat from the bone, and they chewed on it hard as they could. Omotola was able to get 15 points in the Bone Cracker stage, and Caleb was able to take the lead with 25 points. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, Omotola was able to get a total of 110 points. And our winner today, Caleb, with 120 points. Congratulations, Caleb. Congratulations. What is exciting about the Foundry is the fact that our awesome sponsors have made sure that everyone who is a part of the competition wins something for themselves. Congratulations. How does that make you feel?
I'm amazed.
Amazed.
I'm dazed.
Dazed.
I'm thankful to God.
Oh, that's exciting. Congratulations once again. Congrats once again. Before we go, a big thank you to our partners, Wise Men Apparel for coming with us on this journey. Like we always tell you, if you are looking for the best in male fashion, if you want to get the kinds of suits that will make a statement, yes indeed, Wise Men Apparel is the place to go. For also really beautiful shoes for yourself as a man or for the men in your life. Check out their outlets across the country. And of course, a big thank you to Prime Wash Laundry for making sure that the clothes that we buy are well washed, well laundered, and that they're smelling fresh and nice all the time. They also have really, really cool outlets across the country. So wherever you find yourself, make sure that your clothes are prime washed. We have a question for you watching us at home. The question is on your screen right now. Please answer that question and send a WhatsApp message only. No calls, no text messages. Just please send a WhatsApp message with your answer to the number on your screen as well. All the best. And that's all we have time for today at this edition of the special Jubilee edition of The Foundry. Big thank you to you for watching with us at home and to our awesome audience. Thank you so much. Bella Rosa Kojo, your quiz master, saying thank you for watching. Goodbye and God bless you.